Hello, I'm Matthew Myers, developer of the Ember, along with my business partner and friend, Brett McPherson, who is married to Trey, who is also my business partner and the builder at the Ember. Excited to be here today to talk about the interiors, which I absolutely love what we're going to look at today, but we're going to explore the why behind it. And with Brett, let's talk about the interiors and what were the inspirations and the ideas that you had for the project.
So I think the overall feeling of the Ember, it was our goal to achieve something very different from the Lark. We really wanted a different type of buyer, a different look, and so we established that with the exteriors being masonry, and
all brick, modular
yes,
brick,
all
historic.
brick, gorgeous, historic feeling. We're looking at potentially doing colored windows, which we haven't seen that as a trend in several years, which I'm excited to kind of
Lots of gas lanterns.
Gas lanterns, and those things in itself really create a vibe. It's cozy, it's warm, it's very inviting.
It's a great place to sit down and have a cup of coffee
It
in the
is.
evening or in the morning on your front porch under that gas lantern. Can't beat it.
Absolutely.
I have those at my house and I love them.
Mm-hmm. You can't recreate with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't replace that with something different and get that same feeling.
That makes sense.
So in the interiors, we really are diving deep into historic homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll see lots of little things as you walk through. For instance, don't scroll yet. For instance, the staircases, the newel post, we're looking at having true reclaimed newel post. And so
What's a newel post?
That's a great question. I'm using this lingo. You gotta know the lingo.
You're assuming I'm smart. You shouldn't assume that.
That is not a false assumption. It is the anchor at the bottom of the stairs. So it's the largest post.
The big handrail thing you grab when you're...
No, that's a handrail.
When you're grabbing getting your breath in order to walk up the stairs, you grab that big thing and then you start...
If you're not taking the elevators, which are an option at the end.
In some of the houses, you're right.
Yes,
we do have elevators.
Which is great. So if stairs intimidate you, we do have that option.
That's true.
Yeah. So we're just going to dive into the kitchens right here that we're looking at.
All right.
That stove in the left picture, it was one of my number one things that had to be right. And so I have chosen the Ilve range from Italy.
Wow.
It is a 36-inch range, not a 30, and so it's a full-size range, but it's going to have those gold accents. We're going to do, in a lot of the cases, we'll do quartzite up the backsplash.
Will they all be black, or are there going to be other options?
Oh my goodness, the options. So there's a hunter green, there's a blue-gray, there's a blue. The white is just the prettiest, creamiest off-white. There's a stainless with the gold, which is a gorgeous pair, and then the black.
Boy, as soon as you said hunter green, I was kind of sold on
Oh,
that.
I know.
Yeah,
you would love the hunter green. It's the only one that comes with a chrome option.
Okay.
But it looks great with the gold.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to have a lot of stained wood in here. We're going to have elements of reclaimed wood. The floors, you can see those photos in the floors, they're circle sawn. It's just going to give a little bit of a historic feel. But we're going to create nests that you just want to curl up with a book, have a friend over, have a coffee, and just a very cozy place to live.
I love that.
The bathrooms, everything's going to be cozy, but they're also going to have this balance of just fresh and airy and just delightful, really. So you can see the element of the stain. Everything is going to have a detail. So the backsplash in that bathroom, the way it details up around the faucets, we are going to not skimp on anything. We're planning to have Kohler faucets throughout, visual comfort lighting. There'll be a balance of stained woods, but also, like in this kitchen, how they use the hunter green on the cabinetry.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So we'll use some historic colors. There'll be about 5 on the exteriors that will kind of balance throughout the development, and you'll see those repeated inside, because those colors, we didn't just pick them because we liked them. We picked them because what they've done in the history of homemaking.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot, but you see it in the great historical neighborhoods across the United States.
It's refreshing.
I don't think I've ever seen them in Edmond before. So these are going to be stunning. I take that back. You do see them in the Clegger neighborhood. There's a
Mhm.
few homes in there that have
Which
taken
are older.
that are historic, but I'm
Mhm.
in new home construction. I haven't seen that done in Edmond
Mhm.
before, really in Oklahoma City. So
We
it's going
had
to
a
be beautiful.
small era of like the red window, but what we learned is it dated a house really quickly
Right.
because it was used in kind of a willy-nilly kind of a
Mhm.
way. But these will be anchored with the siding and the trim and the front doors, and there'll just be a lot more meaning behind it.
I love that. Let's keep looking at the interiors here. Gosh, these are beautiful.
So art lights, you'll find that we
Did you say art lights?
Yes, above the built-ins right there are all art lights.
Okay.
And
Art. You mean the thing,
yes,
the light that hangs over? Okay.
correct.
Gotcha.
Yes. So we're looking to create more of an ambiance with our lighting, not just flood the room. So in historic homes or a replication of that, you don't see a lot of can lighting. So we're going to minimize the use of cans, and we're going to utilize our ceiling lights more, art lights more, lamps more. So it's going to be a little bit of a change for the industry, but that's really how we're going to create this feeling that we want you to have when you enter into these
Do you happen to
homes.
know when the can lights became popular? Was it a 70s or 80s thing?
You
Because
know,
you don't see them a lot in
you
the
don't.
older historic homes.
You don't at all.
Oh.
I think the price of cans came way down and made them a lot more achievable to use in
Okay.
projects. And I also think that lighting was not thought out well enough. And so people were tired of living in these dark spaces. So then they overcompensated and they just flooded it with light. But with LED lights and dimmers and all of the things, like we can just get a little more strategic with how we use those.
Boy, having a thoughtful lighting plan in the house makes all the difference. And it's
so
overlooked
much.
by most builders for
Yes.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh, these are wonderful.
They are. So those drop pendants are just creating such a vibe.
There's your white stove.
Yes,
I see that.
there's a white stove. Yes. The dark, cozy room on the right, it just creates a little bit more of a moody effect with the layers of more of like a golden oak on that floor. This isn't really on the construction end, but the way that they layered those live plants in there, it just creates more of a cozy, homemade feeling.
Love that.
Gas lanterns, of course. This particular photo on the right is probably as modern and edgy as we'll go in the Ember. We want people to love their home and have a lot of choices. It will be a very curated design selection process that will be
So the buyer's going to have a lot of influence on what goes on inside their house.
They will have a lot of influence, but it won't be like the Lark where we have 3 completely different packages.
Right.
They're going to be more curated and guide you really to this finished. The whole development's going to be one cohesive look.
I love it.
So there'll be different edges that we can take, but as a whole, this is really the images that we are trying to portray. So the shiplap, we're kind of strategizing places to use shiplap, such as powder baths, wainscoting in the dining areas. Maybe.
What is wainscoting?
So whenever you see shiplap, but you only take it 36 to 42-ish inches tall, that creates a wainscoting.
Okay, I see.
So there are a couple of images that I'll point out. This is another, you see green used here. I think that is just chosen because of the emotions that green evokes in us. It's just a very cozy color in all of the shades that it's used. So that, you see some red oak on that island. And then if you scroll down a little bit, this bathroom does have a wainscoting. It's the hunter green, and it's like a beadboard, if you will. We will have a little bit of use of wallpaper. That is a perfect example of a newel post. It's not one that's just bought off the shelf.
At the bottom of the stairs, yeah. I see.
Yes, so we don't have a lot of railing that shows, so it's important that what we do show is really unique and interesting.
I see that.
And that has a little bit of a mission flair, which we'll capitalize on. This bedroom is interesting because it's such a chic space, but there's no can lights and the fan doesn't even have a light. Now, we won't go that extreme where we only have 2 lamps, but we will be very cautious with how we use light in this space. The left, it's just a great use of the wainscoting again. We might bring that back into the master. This is a modernized version of like a medicine cabinet that's used there. Down below, we see cozy little desk areas. We're finding that home offices are crucial.
And they don't have to be big.
They don't have to be big.
Just enough for a laptop or a desktop.
Yeah,
and
just efficient.
Right.
You need a space for a little bit of things, you know, that you just have to keep
organized,
tangibly and organized. Yeah. So on the left, I mean, you know, a white kitchen could be something that you might see. I think like white stained and then like warm earthy shades are going to be what we see repeated throughout the development. This bathroom on the left, even though it fits, it's probably on the edgier, more modern side, but we've also made it work with like the marble in this space and then the layers of stain.
Love it.
And then on the bottom right, this is just that cobblestone fireplace with that reclaimed hand-hewn mantle. It just creates a feeling
Gosh,
of,
I love that.
yeah, bring all your friends over and enjoy.
Does that work here in Edmond, Oklahoma,
It's
cobblestone?
going
I've seen
to.
a lot of it in lodges in Colorado and Montana.
We're going to change the use. We're going to change how you foresee it. So I think cobblestone has kind of been on the back burner for several years. And then the popularity of Yellowstone, people were like, well, that's I kind of like that. But it doesn't have to be in a lodge. You can see.
The Ember is on a creek and it's by water, so it makes sense that in the homes we should be able to utilize, stones that are influenced by water, which obviously this is. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes, it is my hope not to use the more common like Texas limestone in this area. It just doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do. Our hope is to create something that hasn't been created here before, and we're just hoping, and we just know that it's going to invite people to come and just live a little different in the Ember.
Well, I love it, and so much so that my wife and I are talking about the Ember as our residence as a possibility.
Like this.
we really do love these images and what you're creating, Brett. You've done an amazing job with Designers Brew and all
Thank
this.
Thank you for letting us be a part of this.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. And with that, we're going to wrap up our conversation today about the interiors. But thank you, Brett.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.